2. Welcome home, Raiders. This week, the race to world first continues. When will Garrosh go down? Is LFR just too damn hard? And why can't Blizz help out Low Pop Realms right now? All this and more. This is Convert to Raid 113.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the world of Warcraft.
The Convert to Raid Command Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is September 29th, 2013, and it is now 11:11 a.m. Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land, and hello. My name is Pat Crane, your host of the show. I'm also called Zug around Airy Peak, US, and I'm still raiding with the old Resto Druid. And the players are here. Look out. So we'll go to beautiful Beantown. First, you know him from CTR2. CTR2, by the way, back up and running with the new Siege of Orgrimmar stuff. And this is Darius. Hello, sir.
Hi. It is beautiful today in Boston. Nice fall day. Good day for apple picking.
Yeah, you love apples.
I do love apples.
You've gone on and on about apples. Actually, when we were in Seattle, you went on and on about apples.
I could go on and on about apples on the show if you'd like me to. We did a show about cheese. Why not do a show about apples?
That is true. That is true. We did. Speaking of cheese, we gotta go to La La Land, to Hollyweird, California, to our Rage and Mage Coltrane. Hello, sir.
Fortune cookie say.
Wow, I really missed this last week. No.
I'm back, baby.
Not.
A cross-eyed teacher can't control his pupils. God. Because he's cross-eyed.
No.
It's like a student's his pupil.
That doesn't even have to do with WoW at all.
No.
Come on.
No. You got 10. You got 10 out of 10 pineapples.
I don't know.
From Rhett.
Excuse me. I got 10 out of 10 pineapples.
Yeah. Not
Straight
bongos.
from Hawaii?
Yeah, because you're back from Hawaii.
Well, I actually made up one myself. A Hawaii version.
Yeah.
Fortune pineapple say, enjoy today, live for Tamawi.
No. No. No.
Yeah.
How is that? How is that any good?
No, that's
from a 6-year-old I saw in Hawaii.
I should have stopped on the old cross-eyed.
You should have stopped before then. You should have stopped before. Well, welcome back, Coltrane.
Thank you very much.
It's very nice to have you back.
Thank you.
I think
it's great to be back.
2 weeks I go without Coltrane.
Yeah.
This is how he comes back to me.
This is how he repays you.
The rotten pineapple.
That's right. That's right.
Now I need a vacation.
Right. Oh boy. All right. Well, let's chat a little bit about what's been happening this week. And Darius, why don't you kick it off? What have you been up to this week? What's going on in game for you?
Playing a lot of both my tunes, my druid and my priest lately. I even played a little bit of my rogue. I leveled a little rogue from 30 to 60 for some reason. I don't really know why.
Nice.
Really?
But that was kind of fun.
Kind of fun.
Give you a lot of stuff when you're low level now. I don't have anything below. I mean, that's my lowest tune now for all the classes. So it was kind of strange to go into a dungeon and try to AoE, and I'm like, I don't have any AoE. I don't get that till, like, you don't get that till like 68.
Oh, jeez.
So well, like, I don't know what to do.
What spec are you leveling at?
I think assassination, maybe.
I'm curious, like, rogue combat. Like, is it fast? Is it furious? Or is it, like, slow? Like, is it really moving?
I think it's pretty slow because I'm always waiting for energy. Like, on my druid, when I go feral, it's the same thing. I'm like, I hit all my buttons on the opener, and I'm like, oh, shoot. Now I have to wait.
Right.
I'm all out of energy, and it's not, there's no way to get it back quickly, but
Yeah, that's a little tough, and it's kind of. So you did 30 levels in a week. How much time did you put in?
It didn't take very long at all. It was some questing, some dungeons, and maybe 2 BGs. It's so fast. It's
really.
I mean, I'm fully decked out in heirlooms,
Right.
and got all the guild perks and everything. It was, I don't know, maybe 10 hours total.
Sure.
It was quick. It's really quick.
Wow.
I know that I was actually, it's kind of funny because with all the timeless Isle stuff, I don't feel like any real need to go in there and go do stuff. I mean, it's fun to do, don't get me wrong, and I go in on the timeless Isle on alts all the time, and so like, I'll go on my shaman, and then I'll go on my hunter, and then something else, and it's fun, and it's a good way to get some loot. But I don't really feel any need to go there on my druid necessarily, unless I'm doing something specific where I want something from the vendor.
Yeah, I got all the rep on my priest up to honored, which took forever. And then I was able to buy the trinket that ports you there. There's a unused trinket, kind of like the Dalaran ring, and I bought that, and I was like, oh, well, now I don't really want to go back.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, the Timeless Isle, I think, has really helped a lot of people. People are playing their alts again now because they get gear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gearing them up. I mean, I really kind of dig that. I'm now playing a lot of alts now, when I can, just because they got a nice set of 496 just waiting for them.
Yeah.
My
great.
level 60 rogue is decked out in 496s that they can't.
Your level 60 rogue has the full set, even though he can't use it at all.
Yeah,
But that's awesome, though. I mean, imagine that compared to like, all right, now we got to start the old dailies and we got to start, you know what I mean? Got to start up that gear grind. I mean, right out of the gate, you can do TOT LFR, and I'm sure with 496, does that qualify you for SOO LFR?
It does if you can manage to get the rest of your gear up to that level. The problem is going to be with trinkets and
weapons.
And weapons.
There's no weapons. The other problem is, and this is a bit of a rant and not really what I'm doing in WoW, I've noticed is people load up in that 496 gear and they immediately hit the LFR button, and they go in ungemmed, unenchanted, on everything. And they don't really, they really shouldn't be there.
Well,
at that point,
they shouldn't necessarily be in Siege of Orgrimmar. They should be, maybe in one of the lower tier LFRs or something like that in Throne of Thunder,
or at least just throw some gems and a chance on there, and then go back to Siege of Orgrimmar.
And they don't even have to
fine.
they don't even have to be the best gems and enchants. You can do, just a little bit of boost would be nice. Put in a little bit more effort into your character.
You could buy the slightly lesser ones for like 5 gold.
Yeah.
On the server.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Because most of the stuff, the stats on those are all over the place, and you're gonna go in and have no spirit or 30,000 spirit for your class or something like that.
Right.
And,
yeah. And definitely checking out your gear on something like Ask Mr. Robot is pretty easy to do. You can load it in pretty quick, and they just like automatically just say, hey, here you go. Here's what you need to do. And if you have the add-on, oh my God. I tried out the add-on that they have.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's like one button for everything.
It's just so great. You don't have to, keep on going out of game to look up your stuff. You just say, oh yeah, I want to reforge stuff. Oh, here we go. And you just click one button and it's reforged. It's like, oh my, what?
Yeah, right.
Why was I doing all that clicking and dragging before?
Yeah, that's
outrageous.
You go to put your gems in, and it'll tell you what gem you need to put in what slot with a little visual indicator and everything. You don't even have to swap back to the website. It's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's cool.
And then also been raiding. My team, let's see, we finished Thursday night, 12 of 14. We got Talk and
big applause.
Siegecrafter.
Oh, woo! There we go. Big applause for you guys.
Siegecrafter, that fight is a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But we, I think we got that. It was our second or third pull. We got that guy down.
Wow.
And we spent probably, I don't know, 20, 30 pulls on Thok.
Well, I heard that Thok was a bit of a.
He's tough, especially without paladins. No Devo aura, no none of that stuff. He's a bit tricky because it requires a lot of thinking outside the box that you don't normally have to do in normals. As far as raid wide cooldowns for classes that wouldn't normally use them, things like that. So
sure.
You got people doing where you got a guardian druid going Heart of the Wild and healing, things like that. It's different. But we tomorrow night we go against Paragons and then Garrosh. So we're excited.
Wow. Boy, I hear Paragon's a little hectic.
I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Now, Coltrane, you've been off for a week, so I'm guessing that you probably haven't had too much WoW time, right?
No, no, not a lot of WoW time. I was in the gorgeous tropical paradise known as Hawaii. Aloha! Aloha, 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 aloha. Mahalo, mahalo, my friend, mahalo. Yes. The Lady Train and I were, well, I've got two stories. One, we were on the beach, enjoying a nice Mai Tai, sitting, looking at the tropical ocean, when a giant bird landed at the table next to me. Oh. At first, I thought it might have been a falcon or an eagle. No, it was just a giant pigeon. This thing was back. It was so huge that it landed on the table next to us and scared the two women so much that they screamed and ran. It was that big. I mean, it just landed, right?
Yeah.
This thing looked part pterodactyl.
Was it as big as the albatross on the Timeless Isle?
It was the albatross. And what it was after was the food, right?
Yeah.
So I see this thing, and then it decides to land on our table. My lovely wife, the Lady Train, she screams because it's a little jarring.
Yeah.
So here's what happens next.
Yeah.
You know those kung fu movies when a guy goes to punch another guy and the guy like stops his fist midway, like and stops it?
Yeah.
So here's this giant bird animal. So I go to shoo it away. Well, it has other plans. So it literally met me head on and stopped my hand with its beak. I went, ah! Like literally, like, ah! Like stop me mid-shoo.
Right.
I was shooing it away. I don't know if it thought I was giving it food like really quickly. But it impaled me. Like you can't really see it, but it impaled me. This giant pigeon.
Wow.
It was insane. So I got my butt kicked by a huge pterodactyl bird. So that was number one.
Yeah.
I need the music again.
Oh, you need the music again. All right, hold on. There we go. There's the music again.
Aloha, aloha, aloha. Mahalo, 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 mahalo.
He doesn't even know what those words mean. It's fine.
Yes, I believe it means, where's the bathroom?
Right.
So anyway, last night we're out on the beach again and sipping a nice Mai Tai, and a young native Hawaiian boy walks up to me. He says, aloha, and I say, aloha.
Yeah.
And he says something I don't understand, and then he gestures and he's selling shells, and I say to him, no, native Hawaiian boy, I do not wish to purchase your conch shells. He stares at me, quietly says, mahalo, and then in the face, in my left eye was some type of mixture of guava and sand. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, I have like this infection in my eye.
Oh my gosh.
This
What is going on?
And boy, I don't know what happened. Anyway, it was insane. So that was
getting beat up by pigeons and small children.
It's very hostile there. I don't think you realize that.
It's like a war zone over in
Do you ever
Hawaii.
think, I mean, you're the common denominator here. Maybe it's you.
No, it's not me.
I mean, were you wearing that shirt?
Maybe on both occasions.
There you go.
Right, maybe it's the shirt, because that shirt is really flowery.
It is flowery. For those listening, I'm wearing a nice shirt that'll get you punched and bit by animals and livestock in Hawaii. But anyway, it was an amazing time. Besides those two instances, it was an incredible trip. Got to see Pearl Harbor, got to relax. I mean, Hawaii is like amazing. And I know I keep saying Hawaii because over there, they pronounce their W's as V's.
Right.
Isn't that weird?
Right.
So, but yeah, it was a beautiful time. It was wonderful. But it does feel good to be back. So
I bet.
Bandages on and ready to go.
You need to rest up.
I do need to rest.
You need to rest up there, buddy. Oh, man. All right. Well, we've got a few things to talk about before we get into the news here. And first up, I want to talk about what everybody in the chat room is seeing right now, which is we have a brand new website. Woo! And it looks phenomenal. It really does. And if you guys want to check it out, go over to converttoraid.com, check it out. Let us know what you think about it and give us some feedback. We've already gotten some feedback, some people missing some of the things that we had before, and some people really liking it, and lots of feedback through Twitter and through email and all that kind of stuff. And you can make sure to give it a little road test and see what you think about it. But Darius, you and Macus were big instruments in getting this stuff done, so thank you guys. But do you have any, are there anything cool here that you want to talk about with the website?
No. I mean, it's it's brand new.
Yep.
We coded it completely from the ground up. It's right now it's just the website, but eventually it'll have the features we promised for the guild, like the raid finder tool and all this other craziness. But
yeah,
as of right now, it is what you see.
Yeah, and we are looking at expanding it. We do have plans to expand it, so don't think that we're just saying, "Oh yeah, hey, great, new website. Now we're done."
Yes,
we're not. We're not.
No, there's lots more planned. With lot of stuff we had to put on the side burner just to get this out.
Right. And so,
but it's great, guys. It's really, really great, man. I got to check it out this morning, and it's just gorgeous. You guys did a great job.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it looks a little funky on mobile devices and iOS and stuff like that. But we are working on that stuff too. So just know that it's all being worked on right now. We're starting where we can and building from there. But hopefully we'll have, an entire mobile site up as well, and maybe an app at some point. These are things we're building on. These are all things we're building on. And so it looks really great. Check it out, converttoraid.com over there. And also, I have something else that I want to talk about right now, and that is going to be BlizzCon.
Woo!
BlizzCon! It's coming up in, 40 days or something like that? It's like 5 weeks away.
Yeah, I gotta lose weight.
I know.
Yeah,
I gotta drop 20 now.
I gotta get on that treadmill, man.
Holy cow!
Get my legs ready for all the walking around that I'm gonna be doing.
Gotta work on your
walking. I was expecting people to carry me. That's that's not happening.
Just like you do in all your raids, right?
Yes, exactly.
For the raiding panel, we'll carry you on your shoulders. And
I got a guy. He's been working on my chariot and everything. Man,
you're gonna do a Lady Gaga at BlizzCon?
Cancel that. Yeah,
nice.
That's awesome.
Just appear in a giant egg. You'll be fine. No, but we have some stuff going on at BlizzCon this year. We are gonna actually have a party, and we have it all lined up for Friday night. So the very first day of BlizzCon, that night we're gonna have a little room in the Hilton, and we're gonna be there from 8 to midnight. Essentially. And the guys from the Converted Podcast are going to be there, and they're going to be, talking with some guildies and stuff like that. This is like a Convert to Raid community meetup is what I'm calling it anyway.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I hope that if you're going to BlizzCon, you can at least stop by, say hi. I know that the three of us are going to be there for sure. The guys from Converted Podcast are going to be there for sure. Lots of guildies are going to be there. And so if you're in the area, want to drop by, please do. It may not be, it's not a huge room, so don't, it may be a little crowded from time to time, but we're making it as large as we can.
And yes, there will be a bar.
There will be a bar. So, and more stuff coming. Hopefully soon we can let you in on some of the other stuff. We're still working on some of the behind the scenes action as well. So there may be some fun little things happening there. We'll see.
It's almost exactly a month before my birthday, so I'll expect lots of presents and gifts.
Right. Of course.
That's awesome.
Just saying.
Maybe, actually, you know what? If you want to bring Darius a present, bring him cookies.
Just bags of Bakwano.
Either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I'm sure that in real life you will not take offense to that at all.
Yeah, we probably don't want to bring real life bat guano.
No,
let's keep that in game.
No.
Let's not bring that into real life.
Let's not. And also, let's get into the Raiden news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
All right, it's time to check out what's happening with raiding news around the World of Warcraft. And up first, we have to go into Siege of Orgrimmar Heroic Progression. Woo! Once again. Now this week, we saw a little bit of progress. And Darius, why don't you give us the lowdown on what's kind of been going on?
So Method jumped ahead early. This was 5 days ago, I think it was, or 4 days ago, and they got Paragons of Calaxy first ahead of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we've had Paragon and Blood Legion and Depraved and some Russian guild whose name I can't pronounce.
I think it's Exorcist.
Oh yes, it's Exorcist.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep.
But we've still got Midwinter at 12-14, which is a bit of a bummer. I was kind of hoping they would jump up there, but
I think those guys have been raiding less time than everybody else. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, they definitely don't raid as much, but they still raid 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday, for 4 hours a night. So they do raid quite a bit, but they're still stuck on Paragons, which I take it to be a pretty hard fight on Heroic. And then 4 days already on Garrosh on Heroic for Method.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they're going to get that anytime soon, which is good. So
right on. Now, have either of you guys seen any videos this week or last week that have really jumped out at you? Because I know I saw the Siegecrafter Black Fuse one from Method. That was crazy, man. At the end of the fight, only 7 people were left alive.
Yeah, it sounds about right. That the end of that fight just gets nuts. It's one of those fights where, like, sub 20%, you can feel the kill, and things start piling up, and at that point you're behind already, and someone just yells, "Just burn!" and everyone forgets all the other mechanics. And in that fight, if you do that, things just start spawning and wreaking havoc throughout the room. So that's what happens there, and then you end up with only 7 people alive because everyone else has just died from attrition.
I love those fights, though, where it's like kill or be killed. Like, kill him before he kills everyone. You know what I mean? I love those kind of fights.
Yeah.
I think that was our Thok kill this past week. I think our rogues tanked for the last, 10% of the boss.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah, and it was funny in that video particularly. You could hear the guys, and I'm guessing it was as they were dying, they were getting more vocal on the comms so that people would die and then they go, "Oh my God, we're like 0.5% away. Come on, let's go." And the people that were actually playing were very silent. That's my guess.
Very focused.
Right, yep. Exactly. They were like, "All right, I have to push all these buttons correctly, otherwise we're gonna wipe." Less than 0.5%. Oh, nerd screams are always
nerd screams are the greatest things ever. Just hearing these guys go ballistic. It's just wonderful.
So now, who do we think is going to win this thing? Anybody want to pipe in with their thoughts on who's going to win?
Well, I don't think it's going to be Alliance.
Yeah,
because
it's not looking good for the
Alliance. In
Alliance.
the top 10, only one of them is Alliance. The rest are all Horde. So my bet is Horde. Although I don't think that was your question, but I'm going to go with Horde.
Does the Horde really win in this? Because we are beating up on Garrosh. So does the Horde really win? I think maybe.
Yeah.
And Darius, do you have a thought?
I mean, I really think it'll be Method just because they've got 4 days, or at least a day and a half on everyone else. I think they have a day or a day and a half on even Paragon. But there are times where someone figures out some really weird, strange strat that works, or some weird mechanic that they can cheese their way through, and they'll pop ahead. With the groups we have, though, I really think it's going to be either Method or Paragon. One of them is going to figure it out first.
Sure. Now on Garrosh, it's I think we have a new phase in that one as well. Darius, do you know anything about that at all? In
the new heroic phases?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as far as I know, it's similar to what happened on the Shah. It's just a whole nother phase that goes to a whole nother location, I think.
Yeah, it goes to Stormwind.
Yeah.
Stormwind Harbor.
That's right.
This is what everyone was freaking out about. They thought Blizzard was destroying Stormwind Harbor again.
Right.
Blizzard hates the Alliance. Well, no, it's just one phase in a heroic encounter.
Right.
No, they hate the Alliance.
They do hate the Alliance.
Clearly.
So they're trying to figure that out, and most of that wasn't tested, so it's tough to get in there and try to do it the first time.
Right.
Yeah. You know how when you go to a place and you touch a certain a foot of a statue for luck? Like at Blizzard, when we went there, they have a a little dummy of Varian Wrynn, and they kick it right between the legs every day when they walk in. Boom, and then they start their day. So I think you're right. I think they do hate the Elite. Clearly.
I mean, it's true.
Well, they showed us that on our Blizzard tour. It was amazing. It's
Really crazy.
The first kill of Garrosh was Horde side, and the Horde video was released first, which means obviously Blizzard
right.
likes Horde better than Alliance.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly.
I don't.
Wham.
It's invaluable. I don't.
It's very instructive.
It
All right.
is.
Well, let's get into more criticism about Blizzard right now
Do it.
with the new LFR wing out. So we have the second wing of LFR out, and the forums have been abuzz again as the second wing kind of comes out and people are playing through it. Hopefully, although I've heard reports of like 6-hour second wing LFR,
What?
times 6 hours, 6 hours.
Even with like max determination?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with 10 determination stacks,
Yeah.
6 hours. So
Yeah.
if you're a raider that only does LFR and you want to feel what it's like to do progression raiding, go do Nazgrim right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
Jeez.
exactly. That is
I'm not saying that it's hard. I'm saying that
it is
you're
what,
going to spend a long time there.
it is what progression feels like. I mean, LFR is kind of the new progression right now, as people are trying to figure out, as people are getting used to the fights, and so on the forums, some of it's just like trying to figure out if LFR is too hard, or if Flex has stolen a lot of normal and heroic raiders to the point where fewer knowledgeable people about these fights are going into LFR, and so you're not having people that are extremely well geared going through LFR, and that leaves mostly these LFR only guys to clear the content.
Whoa.
This is what the forums are saying.
Right, I know.
So they're saying that Flex has stolen all these people, and how dare you put Flex in, because now you're totally taking away the fun of LFR. I don't know.
This is outrageous.
So it's not even that it's not even that you've got people that it wouldn't matter if you had people that only do LFR. The fight is doable if you have LFR only gear, from the previous tier.
Sure.
It's the fact that Blizzard has said, "Hey, remember this dungeon journal we put in the game a long time ago? You should probably read it. And if you're not going to bother to do that, then this is going to be really hard."
Well,
and
and
it's supposed to be.
And especially on Nazgrim, right? I mean, Nazgrim
Yes.
is like a wall for people, because if you attack him in defensive stance, he just spews hate at you. That's all you get.
What is now? I'm still playing catch up here
Sure.
on LFR, and I have the answer for all of this personally.
Okay.
But what is it about the Nazgrim fight that makes it so hard in LFR?
So
What's the mechanic?
on the it's not even just in LFR, it's in normal as well. He has 3 different stances because he's a warrior. He has a berserker stance, a defensive stance, and a battle stance.
Right.
Battle stance is normal. Berserker, he takes increased damage, but in defensive stance, for all the damage you do, he gains more rage, and the more rage he has, the bigger abilities he can use. And what happens in LFR is when he goes into battle stance or defensive stance, people are just going all out on him still, and he's just generating rage and rage and rage and using his biggest ability over and over and over again, and it just fills the room with these spinning swords of death. And then eventually you get a room full of ads that people aren't killing and interrupting, and there's an ad in there that will heal him 30% every time it ticks its totem. So you get really behind, and the biggest thing to negate most of this would be if people just didn't attack him in defensive stance. But we're getting this mentality that it's LFR. I don't have to do anything. I'm going to get carried by 24 other people. I'm just going to sit here and turret on the boss. That worked before. I'm going to do it again. And it's not working here. And
it's not always that. I mean, there's definitely that's some of the case. But I think some of the other people go in there unprepared. They don't necessarily look at the dungeon journal because they want to experience it, as it's kind of weird, because some people go in there and go, I'll learn as I go. And that's, if you're paying attention to to the chat that's going around, the instance chat stuff, maybe you wipe once. And if you're paying attention to that, if you're in the game, so to speak, hopefully somebody will say, well, we can't attack him during defensive stance, and you go, okay, remember that, go. But then there are some people, and I think that this is where you're seeing those 6 hours clears of second wing, where somebody, and it can just be one person on the Nazgrim fight, right? That is the real problem here. And that one person wipes everybody over and over and over again because they are either not paying attention to the chat that's going around, or they just want to mess with everybody, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think two things here. One, second wing of LFR, it just came out.
Right.
So as we've learned with TOT LFR and all the ones previous, the first week or two of LFR, it's a wipe fest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember like Duramu and like all that stuff where people were refusing to even queue for LFR because people just wiped and wiped and wiped and wiped. But then after a while, people got the mechanics. They understood what to do. I think what's going to solve Nazgrim is going to be time. Now, you also brought up how one guy can wipe it, and that's bad because there are people that queue up for LFR because it's anonymous. And their job is to wipe the raid, and they can have their laughs and blah, 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 right?
Yep.
But remember Garelon in LFR. They had the little purple ring around the bug. And some people were intentionally going in that purple ring, causing him to do the big slam and then wiping the groups.
Yep.
Blizzard eventually added like a big long cooldown to that.
Yep.
So it doesn't happen as often. So I'm sure, let's give it another week or two. People are going to learn these mechanics, but if it continues to be this way, I'm sure that Blizzard will enact some type of nerf on damage during defensive stance, or maybe he doesn't gain rage as quickly or something like that, to keep away from those trolls that all they want to do is wipe the LFR group. But I think overall, I don't think the issue is that it's too difficult or too crazy for LFR. It's just because it's new.
Yeah.
And people just need time.
Yep. And I think that's true. And Blizzard actually did come through and they said, there may be some changes on the horizon for some of these encounters, and there definitely could be. They have only played it, they've only had it on the PTR, and the PTR is not known for having super casual players on it.
Right.
So you don't have the same type of input on the PTR as you do on live. So when it goes to live, there can be some confusion, there can be some trolls, there can be people that just don't know what's going on. There's all sorts of people with all sorts of different agendas joining LFR.
Exactly.
And this is going to be a thing where Blizzard's going to have to look at it and say, okay, we're going to change the Nazgrim encounter a little bit to make sure that we can get people through in a timely fashion, because having one mechanic where one person can affect 24 others is not necessarily the place that you want to be.
Yeah.
So
it's just like you said, people have different agendas. It's not my agenda. It's not your agenda. It's not the person out there listening. It's not your agenda, but there's other people's agendas that all they want to do is make everyone else's time miserable.
Yeah.
And if they can find a way to do that, then LFR is the place for them to do it. You can't do it in a flex raid. You won't get invited again.
Right.
You can't even use the open raid tool. You'll get downgraded. You won't get invited again. You can't do it in a regular raid team, but you can do it in LFR because you're anonymous. And they thrive in that.
I remember that Garelon fight too, man. Even after they put in the cooldown, people were still doing it intentionally. And as a resto druid, I would just symbiosisize myself with a priest and try to yank him out of there. But even then, I can only do that like every 2 minutes. So
they still run right back in.
Jerk.
Right.
Or try to leave him as dead, but then some DK would res him. Jerk.
Yeah, but it just needs time. Like Lei Shen and LFR, nobody was clearing that. A lot of these boss encounters, when they first came out, nobody was clearing them. I remember Council was a big deal at first in LFR, and people didn't know, what do we do with the sand guy? And what do we do with this? And it just takes time. It's still new.
Now, Darius, did you actually go through LFR this week?
No, I didn't do LFR. I did the first wing on my druid, but I haven't touched the second wing on any of my tunes. I don't need anything in there from my tunes, so the only thing I might need is runestones on my druid, but I can do that in flex. So
right. Yeah, well, and that's kind of my point too, is that I am looking at LFR completely different now that flex is out, and I think there is some validity to the fact that that flex is out now. So people that are doing normals and, especially those teams on heroics, they don't need to go through LFR unless they're like missing some kind of tier gear that they really want to maximize their drops on, right? So, I mean, they don't necessarily need to go. And if they're heroic team anyway, most likely they're just going to gather friends and go, plow through this stuff, right?
Yep.
So I'm just kind of, I'm kind of like looking at LFR completely differently. It's
I just think it's just too early to tell yet.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just it just came out. It's too early to tell.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to keep tabs on this so that we can let you guys know how it's going between Flex and LFR, because this is a new thing. This is a new difficulty. We don't know exactly what's going on with it. We don't know what's going on with the LFR situation right now. Maybe there'll be some hot fixes coming up. So just, hang tight. My guess is that there will be. So we'll check it out. All right. Should we go over to New Zealand?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go to New Zealand. There was a road trip. There was a new trademark from Blizzard that appeared in New Zealand this week, and it's called Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm.
That was a Doors tune. That's nice.
Yes.
Nice. I like that. So we've had The Dark Below, and of course the follow-up, Corgis Unleashed. Which
I'm excited for that. It's actually going to be a mobile game. People don't know this. Blizzard sent me an email. I probably shouldn't say anything, but Corgis Unleashed is a mobile game they're coming out with.
Right.
It's it'll take place in classic 5-man dungeons, but you only play as a corgi.
That's right.
Just through vanilla content.
Yeah. Yep.
You'll have full heirlooms, but you're going to be a dog.
And all 5 people in there are corgis.
Oh, that's going to be the cutest dungeon ever.
They are corgis. I'm sorry. They are just straight up adorable. I mean, they are adorable. I mean, hello.
Right.
My goodness.
Oh, man. All right. So now what do you guys think this is about, this new Heroes of the Storm trademark? Are we going to see anything actually come out of this, or is this another one of those quote-unquote hoaxes? Or what does this mean? Anybody?
This is the new expansion.
Really?
Calling it now. Yep.
No.
This is a new expansion.
I don't think so.
And it's going to focus.
Sound like a expansion.
It's going to focus on the Alliance.
Right. Solely on the Alliance, just to make up for the last 2 expansions. Right. So, Coltrane, what do you think it's all about?
This sounds to me like an expansion card pack for Hearthstone.
You haven't even come out with a regular Hearthstone.
I know. I'm just saying it's a small game with a small team. Means they can churn stuff out faster. I mean, and now get the Heroes of Storm card pack. Like, doesn't that sound right? Like, I don't know. Like, we've had like the Burning Crusade, Cataclysm, Mists of Pandaria, Wrath of the Lich King, Heroes of the Storm. Well, I guess that does sound expansion-y.
Here's the problem that I have. I have a couple of problems with Heroes of the Storm as an expansion. All the rest of the expansions, even Mists of Pandaria, have been mysterious or like about the bad thing, right?
Like the event.
Right, it's about the event. This has nothing to do with any event. This is talking about heroes
of the storm.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be the Alliance coming together to fight one of the old gods while the Horde is still rebuilding from garagesness.
Right.
So the Horde's not even going to be involved. If you play Horde, you're going to be stuck in the MoP expansion. You'll have to go Alliance in order to get any of the new content.
There we go. And then this is the way that the Alliance is finally going to win the progression battle. So Method and Blood Legion, sorry.
That's right.
But Midwinter, you've definitely got a shot now at number 1. It's going to be awesome.
Heroes of the Storm.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like award-winning weathermen.
Yes. It's just a bunch of guys in raincoats. It's a bunch of guys in raincoats just sitting there going, yeah, I think we'll see this for another hour or 2.
That's right. There's
back to you in the studio.
I'm Dallas Reigns. I'm a hero of the storm.
Yes.
I don't know, man. It just seems weird. It doesn't sound expansion-y to me for WoW. It sounds like Hearthstone.
Right. Well, and they did also mention a couple of other things. The software is being used on mobile and cellular phones, laptops, handheld computers, and tablet PCs. So
There you go.
So it doesn't sound very expansion-y to me.
No.
No. I think
It did also say that it was physical media, though.
Yes.
And all the other Hearthstone trademarks don't say that.
It does say physical media as well, so it's weird. It's weird. Maybe
it's a board game.
Maybe. They actually just came out with the Trivial Pursuit. That's now available.
Maybe it's their own type of board game.
Maybe it's
though,
an
not
expansion.
a branded.
Maybe it's an expansion for their Trivial Pursuit game. Maybe they're going to make it into an app as well. So, I don't. Beats the
That
hell
makes
out of
more
me.
sense to me.
I don't know. It doesn't sound very expansion-y, though.
No way.
All right. So another thing that was kind of interesting is that WowDB, the database that over at MMO Champion and blah, 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 it's kind of linked with all that stuff. Those guys have actually released a bunch of data, and we're going to get into numbers here a bit as we talk about drop rates.
Woo!
And I think this is actually kind of interesting. And Darius, you're kind of more of a numbers guy. What do you think about all of these numbers that you're seeing, especially when it comes to raid boss drop rates, comparing like Throne of Thunder to Siege of Orgrimmar?
I mean, I think it's seeing 20%, 25% drop rates from like Ordos or the Celestials and Siege of Orgrimmar Raid Finder and 15% from Ordos. It's, those seem realistic for what Blizzard would probably want, but they are a bit disheartening to look at that and say 15% drop rate. Well, the enhancement shaman in my group is fully decked out in Warforged gear from Ordos. That's not 15%. That's
right.
It's like a 200% drop rate for him, and I haven't won a single thing. The one thing I have won from Ordos was a Warforged set of bracers to replace the already Warforged set of bracers I was wearing. Thank you, Ordos.
Colt, do you like looking at this stuff? I know you're kind of a loot man, so
Loot, baby! All about the loot!
right.
Mahalo, WowDB, for this info.
I seriously don't think you know what those words mean.
He's just saying things.
I think you're no, never mind.
No, I drank too
You're right.
much coffee. I've got a Mahalo here in a minute.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
I
I've
got
got a Mahalo big time.
Oh boy.
But so here's the thing. Loot is the most important thing in the game. What? I mean, wait, no, sorry. But I think people should know the info here. So the Celestials, 21% item drop rate, and the Celestial Treasure box drops 79% of the time. So Celestials, 21%. Nalik, 18% item drop rate. Storm Touched Catch, 82%. Ordos, 15% drop rate, so lower than Nalik. Undasta, 19% drop rate. And the old shiny pile of refuse dropped 81% of the time. For me, 130%.
I think you were talking, instead of the Mahalo, it should have been the shiny pile of refuses coming up because you had so much coffee, right?
That's right. Well, that's en route. That's terrible.
I know, that was bad. I'm sorry.
That's very
apologize.
aloha of you.
Right,
Wait, am I
exactly.
using that word right?
No, not at all.
When in Rome. So,
Don't worry, you'll get it.
you'll get. I'm still haven't worked that one out yet.
Right.
And Galleon, that's that big lizard guy. 17% item drop rate, and the old gleaming sack of gold, 83% of the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to me. I like seeing these numbers as far as the raid bosses go. Siege of Orgrimmar, Raid Finder, 25% item drop rate. The Throne of Thunder, before patch 5.4, 16% item drop
and
rate.
I think that part is really cool, actually. Tot has a 16% item drop rate overall. Of course, these are overall. These are all averages. They are not pointing at one particular person because, it does vary.
Now, Throne of Thunder, just to clarify, that was before patch 5.4 was at 16%.
Right, but now the Siege of Orgrimmar Raid Finder has a 25% drop rate, which is actually kind of a big increase, right?
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's more loot.
One of the things I don't like about the way Siege of Orgrimmar does loot and LFR or the bags is the first tier has the Twisted Treasures, the Veil. The second tier has that Coalesced Turmoil.
Yeah.
They're different icons and everything. So the first time I killed a boss in the second wing, I was like, "Oh, I got loot. This is a different bag. It's an item." And then you click on it, and you're like, "Oh, it's."
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a pet or something like that. I'm like,
No.
What is this? And then
It's a fail bag.
and
It
then I
doesn't
went,
even look
"Oh."
like a bag. It looks
No.
like maybe a trinket or a neck piece icon, but
I know. I got excited about that myself.
it's your fail bag.
It is.
It's your fail bag.
It's
Oh,
Warforged gold.
Warforged.
But I love this, man. More loot means
Yeah.
more happy raiders. You know,
Yep.
even Flex, it's starting at right out of the gate at 25% item drop rate.
Yep.
That's a good thing. That keeps people happy.
Yeah, and
It's all about the loot.
I'm trying to. I'm kind of wondering to myself why they increased the drop rate so dramatically. You know, I mean, why would they increase it by almost 10%?
Yeah.
This is we're looking at 2 weeks worth of data here, though.
Yeah.
Like this is and you know, not to poke at WowDB, but as far as I know, not many people are collecting data for them as like they are for Wowhead or something like that. So
True.
I don't. We can't really look at these numbers. If it's 100 iterations, they're looking at 100 drops, and they see 25 dropped. That's not a good sample size. So,
True. Yeah,
you know,
yeah. It is still pretty new, but I mean, 10%. That's a big. That seems like a big increase looking at the numbers that they have collected thus far. Anyway.
If it's a 25% drop rate, seems high to me. I would think 15 or 20%.
I think 25, you know, that does seem high and it should only go higher. Clearly.
He wants all the loot right now.
Right now.
Give it. Just put it in his. Just put it in his bag of goodies right now.
I
All
love
of
the
it.
goodies.
All
They
of
need
it.
to just replace the gold you get. You don't even get gold anymore because it's insulting to get 10 gold from a bag. It should just be a note that says that's just like haha, or you know
Nice.
something like that, or a happy letter from Chris Metzen, because it's
Right.
just it's frustrating when you get the bags or when you coin and you get a bag, or even worse, you coin 4 weeks in a row and you get bags and you're like, yes, my drop rate is increased with this coin, blah blah blah, and then you get an item you're already wearing and you
Yeah.
reset.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why I'm like I'm always like hedging my bet. So I'll open up the dungeon journal, right, and I'll go to the loot page. If I clear a boss, I'll go, okay, I have 2 of these pieces for my particular spec and stuff like that. How many are left, and do I want to risk a coin to try to go get that stuff?
No, because you're gonna get some piece you already have. And,
I know.
Ask Mr. Robot does this great new thing. I don't know if it's part of the premium or free, but you could go and you can tell it which raid you're in, and it'll give you your bonus rolls and be like, okay, well, for your coin, you should spend it on Immersius. Immersius has your best in slot. This is the biggest upgrade, but it'll tell you the exact percentage that when you roll that item is going to come up if you had a fresh roll. And the highest expected rate is like 12%. And most of them are like, there's a 5% chance when you coin, you're actually going to get the item you want.
Don't tell me these numbers. I'm getting all
I'm getting
depressed.
depressed.
I know, depressed.
And
Oh,
3
God.
coins for 14 bosses, 28 if you're doing flex. That's
Oh.
not enough.
Yeah.
3 coins.
That was the other thing too, is that I'm kind of like, I need more coins.
yeah.
I need way more coins.
Yep.
Coltrane, you
I mean-
definitely need more coins.
I need a lot more coins. I'm feeling very mahalo.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. My priest has 8 best in slot items already, but I do need more coins.
That's it. I'm hanging up on you.
I need more loot.
I think our mage has his 4Ps already.
Do any of you
What?
guys? What?
Yeah.
What? No.
Jeez. I get
Yeah.
like suspicious where sometimes I'm like, all right, now if I open up the dungeon journal and I look at the loot, then I won't get loot. So I won't open it. Or like, okay, maybe I need to open it so then the game recognizes that I want loot and then I have a better chance of getting loot.
Superstition, yeah.
Any of you
Yeah.
guys ever get superstitious like that? I do
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I won't look at the loot this time. No, I better.
I always
But I
have to
still
look.
don't get anything.
I always have to look.
I do where, because when I coin things, it flashes bag gold, but what happens on my computer, I don't know if it's lag or what, but when it's not gold, it's supposed to show the icon of the item. Well, it doesn't do that for me. It's just blank for me, and then the item shows in my bag. So what I do is when I roll, I close my eyes, because I'm like, if I can't see what it's doing, then that means it's going to be the blank icon, and I'm going to get
Right.
That's
a
right.
fail back.
Mm-mm.
I even like carried around like a rabbit's foot like in my bags because I thought that, oh, maybe there's some like super secret in-game, like it'll increase your chances of getting loot.
I am shaking my head.
Come on, no one.
I am
no one ever
shaking
did
my
that?
head at you, sir.
No one ever did that. You
I am
never carried
shaking
around
my
a
head at
rabbit's foot or anything like that. Come on.
Oh.
Oh, jeez. I know I'm not alone here. I know it. People out there.
I'm pretty sure.
People!
I'm pretty sure you're not alone either.
All right.
But at the same point, I shake my head. I just shake my head and maybe smile a little bit, but that's about it. I shake my head.
There's got to be some secret, unknown, backwards code NPC item that you can hold on to that gives you more loot. I know
I'll
it's
tell
got to
you.
be in game.
AB, up,
We're
down,
not
up,
online.
down.
I'll tell you.
That's right.
Don't worry. I'll share it with you.
That's good. That's good. There's a little secret, little cheat code.
Yeah. If you want to know, send Bat Guano to Coltrane.
No, I have enough. Bags are full.
He's the one that will be the keeper of the secret.
Right.
Oh.
Oh,
Every
boy.
time I log in, mailbox is full. Error.
Oh.
Oh, bad guano. I don't know what I did to deserve all this.
You made fun of. No, that was me making fun of you.
That's right.
Right.
I'm a nice guy.
I'm sure you did something.
All I get is bad
It's
guano.
mages. Mages can't spell grandpa, so they don't know what to do. They get
Oh,
confused.
here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
boy.
There's
All right,
the
let's
thing.
move on before
There's
I get
the
angry.
thing. Right, exactly. All right, let's move on to Connected Realms. Now,
I know it's not coming from Warlocks because they don't play the game anymore.
oh, sure they
Oh,
do.
geez. Yes,
They're
they
doing-
do.
they're
They
doing
own
really great.
meters.
They're
After
doing
their
great.
nerf last week, they all quit.
We'll get to that in a bit too. I know we have a question coming up about that. So, anyway, but let's get to Connected Realms because this is actually something that was unleashed this week from Blizzard, as Boulder Fist and Blood Scalp US have officially fused their realms.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's right. And it actually works out pretty slick. I was on there. I made a level 1 tune and I went to Orgrimmar like a day or two before when they announced it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna get all set up and I'm gonna take a look around and I'm not seeing a lot of people in Orgrimmar. Okay, all right, that's. I mean, there were some people around, and then 2 days later, after it had been introduced and the servers were up and everything like that, I went there again. There were people. There were people in Orgrimmar, and of course it's a level 1 tune, so you can only get to Orgrimmar. I couldn't go to Pandaria and look around over there, but
Right.
and it was kind of cool. Squishy, one of the guys from Gamebreaker TV, he made an identical tune, another tune named Zug, over on Bloodscalp, and then we met in Orgrimmar. So
What?
So it was 2 tunes named Zug in Orgrimmar together. It was
That's
kind of
weird.
It was kind of cool.
How many of those people do you think are people that like reactivated their tunes or logged into tunes they had when they announced this? That they're not active players.
Right.
I wonder how many people.
Yeah, I don't
you know,
know. That's-
How much of a resurgence they've seen.
Mess with like the space-time continuum. Like you're not allowed to do that. Haven't you seen Back to the Future 2?
Right. Yeah, it was weird. And so it was 2 characters named the exact same on the facing each other in Orgrimmar. So it was a little strange. But they talked about how they were going to do the asterisks after the name to identify the person as being from the other realm or whatever.
Right.
They did not do that. So
Oh.
so it just looks like a regular person. You have to actually like do a mouse hover over the character to figure out where they're from, if you want to do it that way.
When you guys saw each other, did one of you yell, "I'm old," and the other one yelled, "I'm young"? At the same time?
That would have been
That
great.
happened?
That would have been great. Yeah, space time.
Elizabeth's shoe?
Yes, and it was really funny because somebody was having some fun with us. They were like doing this RP thing, and they were like, "One of you 2 Zugs, come over here and help me!" Like screaming it out to the entire. I'm like, all right, this is getting a little weird now.
Oh
I
my
don't-
gosh. You know what you should have said?
What?
Zug Zug.
We did. Yeah, I totally did.
Aw.
I totally did. So you got the joke. That's good. That's good.
No.
Zug Zug. That would have been perfect.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
It was good. It was a good time.
And that's when the server shut down.
right. And
That's
so
right.
Blizzard's like, we're done.
exactly.
We're done.
But because they've started this process, now people are a little antsy, and I think it's mostly people in low pop realms, kind of around the world of Warcraft, are getting a little antsy. We saw some activity in the EU forums as they kind of went, "Help us now! Do it! Please switch on the light."
This outlash, this outcry makes me a little angry.
Yeah, it's always kind of the same thing. It's you said this was coming, and now it's here for one person, so give it to me now. That's kind of what it sounds like from the forums.
Yeah. There's one of the people in the forum said, if you can't do it, why advertise it? It's like those offers you see during sales that advertise on TV. A certain item reduced by 50%. The problem is they've had it on shelves for twice the price it should be. And it's just, the Blizzard responds, they said, we can do it and we will do it. And it's the same thing. It's like, it requires a lot of work. They're not going to roll it out to every realm. Just calm down, relax. This was something you didn't know existed 3 months ago.
Right.
And now you absolutely have to have it this second.
It's
right. And those people that want it are probably the people that were screaming that they did not want it.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Probably the same folks.
It's difficult. I mean, all this stuff takes time, right? And especially something as new as this is going to take some time. And I think that, especially since this is a thing that is going to be where we're going to have servers that are fused together. Once they're together, you can't break it apart necessarily the same way, because you have people joining guilds of different realms. You have, all this different stuff. And it's hard to tear that apart if you need to switch something.
It's not as easy as, I want this, let's do this on this server. It is a lot of work to do this, and they're not charging you for it.
Yeah.
This is just relax. Just relax.
As you pet your cat.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
On the stream.
Evilly.
Right.
Right. My
Got to
goodness.
do the pinky up to the mouth. Say a billion servers or something like
Everyone relax.
that. Everybody, just relax. Oh,
Chill or I'll make you.
putty tat. Just relax.
They need to merge Airy Peak US and Airy Peak EU. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They
And
need
then
to
people
do
can stop
sister servers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can stop saying, well, you make an EU guild.
Yeah. They have actually asked that before.
You actually seriously look like a Bond villain right now. Like, they're even saying it in the chat room. You literally look like a Bond villain.
Or at least an Austin Powers villain.
Right.
So there. So that, Coltrane, any words of advice for people out there as far as this Connected Realms thing goes?
Everybody wants everything now. And I don't know what's happened, but nobody has any patience. It just doesn't exist. But I'm guilty of it too, because I want all the loot.
Yep.
But, it's just got to have patience. This thing's working out. Obviously, it's a success, so that's a good thing. If this thing blew up in their face, everybody would be screaming about that. So give it some time. They're looking at all the data on their side, and it's coming. But the good thing is that Orgrimmar is now populated. Stormwind is now populated. Pandaria is now populated. It's not one person in there at all.
Right.
Now, you've got Zug-Zug. So this is a good thing.
And for how complicated this actually is, the fact that these servers haven't melted is a pretty good sign too. So
yeah, and I'm sure that they have to kind of make sure that everything's stable, right? They're not going to just say, all right, well, it worked here, let's just move on. Let's not collect any data at all.
Yeah. Well, they know what they're doing.
Really? They
No,
they don't.
Have you seen the amount of leather agi that doesn't drop from Siege of Morgor? They have no idea what they're doing right now.
Clearly.
Because I don't have all my loot right now.
It's not even my druid. I feel bad for my raid members right now. We have 4 leather agi wearers in my 10-man raid group. We have 2 rogues, a Mistweaver monk, and a guardian druid, or a windwalker monk. We have 4 people that wear leather agi, and I think we've seen 1 piece maybe.
Wow.
Yikes.
They're very unhappy.
I bet. That is...
So yeah, Blizzard, get it together.
Right.
Yeah, Blizz.
Come on, Blizz.
Stop wasting your time with merging realms.
Jerks.
Make sure that people get loot first. Loot first, merges later.
Yeah,
No.
people don't pay for merges. People pay for loot.
That's right.
That's right. Pay to win.
It's all pay to win. Yeah, that won't get taken out of context at all, I'm sure.
Nope.
Nope, no way, not with this group. All right, let's move it on to leading the raid.
leading the raid.
When we can, we take a look into leadership issues for raid leaders everywhere. This week, we have another listener question. And Coltrane, can you perhaps help us out here?
Sure, this is from Banza.
Banza!
I am an officer for a guild, and while I'm not the raid leader, I do help with organizing our guild's raids and helping people learn their classes and gear up. Our guild has hundreds of random players and roughly 30 or so raiders. We have a mix of people who have cleared most of TOT and people that are newer and haven't done TOT normal yet, but have cleared SOO. Derry's cat's butt is in his face. Why would he write that or have the foresight to know that?
I know, that's weird.
That's
weird.
pretty good.
Wow.
That is crazy. So they've cleared the LFR. They've done the 6-hour LFR clear.
Yes, but have cleared SOO LFRs.
Right.
Okay, so our people that are newer and haven't done TOT normal yet, but have cleared SOO LFRs. Our problem is that their numbers aren't anywhere near where they need to be, and we are unable to clear Immersius even on Flex. I'm so confused on why this is, because around half of our raiders are eye level 520 plus, 3 of which have the legendary cloak, and everyone is a minimum of eye level 496. On top of that, I hear on almost every podcast I listen to, yours being the best, of course. Well done, Banza.
He sent this letter to everyone.
Right.
Every
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Notice how he didn't mention us by name.
Right.
Right. At the top, it says, Dear Dark Moon Herald.
Right.
And convert to raid. What I've heard is that Flex is easy and relaxing and fun, and most guilds are clearing at least the first 2 bosses on there. We've tried it with 10, 18, and 25, but for some reason we are dying like crazy, and we're lucky to make it to a second phase 1 on Immersius. From everything I'm hearing, people are clearing at least Immersius no problem. This is again on Flex. Are we just a lost cause, or do you think there was something we could do to help salvage this raid team? Thanks for everything you guys do for the raiding community.
All right. So we're talking about a team that is having some issues with even Flex, or a guild that's having some issues with Flex. And I see some issues out there that kind of, some red flags. Darius, do you see some red flags here?
No, I'm seeing mostly cat butt.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Other than the cat butt.
Oh, I mean, I have some suggestions if you
Sure.
want to.
Sure, let's
You
do
want to
that.
go over? Okay, so if you're doing this, I would say take a look at the group you've got going. Are they 522s? But there's no gems, no enchants. Or you've got your paladin tank is wearing all leather gear. Take a look at who's actually raiding. Just because they show up with gear doesn't mean that it's the correct gear, or it's it's where it should be. I would take a look at that stuff because those things are little, but they add up to a lot. And then I would take a look at other things. Are you trying to 2-heal Immersius with 25 people? If you are, you're gonna run into problems. If you're not making it past the first phase because of damage, maybe bring a couple extra healers instead of DPS. And I would take a look at, get Scata or Recount or something like that and take a look at overall healing done. Maybe there's someone in there that's just not pulling their weight. And maybe it's just something that they haven't played in a while and they're healing the way they used to. And they just need, they need to take a look at a guide or get some guidance, on how to change things. And, if you want to do World of Logs, that stuff that'll show you as well. But, it's likely just a bunch of little things that are adding up to one big wall. In this case, a water wall.
Literally, it's a wall of water.
Yeah, but I would say take a look at those kind of things. If people aren't dying to stupid things, standing in stuff and getting the wall, then it's probably just a bunch of little stuff that's adding up to a bigger problem.
Sure. Coltrane, anything sticking out at you on this particular letter?
I think the problem here is the focus on gear. Gears do not make a raid team, or gear does not make a raid team. I mean, look at these heroic progression guys. These guys are crazy under-geared for the content, but they're clearing it, and they're doing this world-first stuff. So you need to make sure you have, like Darius was saying, the right raid team makeup, and look at the team itself, and don't just focus on the gear. You know what I mean? Make sure you've got the right amount of healers, DPS. Make sure that the team is synergized and working together as a team. And that's how you're going to down Immersius, at least on Flex. Flex is not easy mode. It's not. It's easier than normal, but you still have to do mechanics. So make sure you're explaining the fights, make sure you're going over everything, and treat it like a regular raid.
Yeah, and I do question, the one thing that I question is eye level 496 gear. it's cool for LFR. I mean, that's your base level gear level that you need to get into Siege of Orgrimmar and LFR.
Yeah,
But
that's going to
as-
be really low for Siege of Orgrimmar Flex.
Right. And as you said, Colt, this is not easy mode. This is not, I mean, LFR is the easiest mode out there, right? You have fewer mechanics. You don't necessarily, there's not as strong of a need to have extreme DPS or heals or whatever. You should be able to do, normal players going in by themselves should be able to clear this content if they know the fight, if they have some sort of idea about the strategy. Anyway, for flex rating, it is definitely one of those things where it is a step up in difficulty, and having bare minimum for the easier difficulty level is not going to do it for you. It's just not. It's tuned differently. So expect to have, I mean, you want people with 505, 510, 515 eye level to go in there and be able to kind of do this. And you want them to be able to play their class as well. It doesn't have to be the most expert play, but it should be that next level, that next step, the right direction anyway, as far as, you know, being able to go in there and do your stuff. If you're having low DPS, find out why. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
people
if
could
you
just be not paying attention.
the biggest thing is you've probably got mages or hunters in there, and I
So
would
you
just
need
say,
more mages, is
don't
what you
bring
mean.
them. Yeah,
More mages.
Yeah.
Be the
this
way
is
to
probably
go.
part of the
Are
problem.
you so you just go through class by class by class throughout the show, insulting those
no,
different
it's mostly
ones, and then-
mages and hunters.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
I
Alright,
insulted
alright.
shamans once, but I got nothing back from shamans, so I
Right.
gave up on that.
Right.
Nice. Wow. You like to stir the pot.
Just stirring that old pot. Just hoping for some bat guano in the old mailbag.
I still get
That's-
some. I still
that's-
get back guano.
That's good. That's good. I think you deserve it on that last one. That's fine. Anything else that we could say about this stuff? The other thing to check out too is make sure that your strat is right. We just put out guides this week. Darius and I, we did the Immersius guide, and we did
Yeah.
the normal mode version of it, but all those mechanics are still there, so go check it out.
Convert to Raid 2. It's all audio. If you need some video on it, that guy from the Gabesta.
Yep.
He used to do the videos or he still does the videos that are 45 minutes, an hour long, but he has short versions now that are 5 minutes long. Take a look at those. But yeah, I mean, it could be all that. If you're not using any voice communication, you didn't say you were or not, maybe that's it. Maybe you're not, maybe you are treating it like LFR.
Right.
And you do need that communication. You do need that leadership in there.
Just treat it more like a regular raid. I mean, like a normal mode raid.
Flask up. Do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on. We've got another question or two, so let's get to them.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line 612-787-RAID, or you can join us during our live show, PM one of the guys. We'll see if we can get to it. And this one, I'll take this one. Just so that
Aw.
because it's about you, Darius, and I want to make sure that you can answer this. So this is from Gonik, Troll Priest on Suramar US. Hey guys, love the show and tune in every week. During show 112, Darius mentioned something about Shadow Priest being broken and needing a nerf, citing the opener on General Nazgrim as evidence. While the nerf bat hit the very next day, it was hardly warranted. Compared to equally geared mages and warlocks, it remains behind. Shadow Priest remain behind, and if history holds true, it will not scale nearly as well as either class as eye levels increase. While not enough data exists yet to make an informed analysis, the few logs that are out there clearly show mages and warlocks dominating the caster classes.
Woo! Wait, what? Sorry, no
latest
favoritism.
The latest change to what is that?
Shadow
Word
Pain.
Pain.
Shadow
Yes,
Word Pain.
I'm not familiar with the shorthand. I'm sorry. Isn't the end of the world, but it does make it that much harder for a Shadow Priest to compete with its other caster brethren, and the nerf itself doesn't seem warranted since Shadow Priests are hardly dominating the charts by comparison. Darius, would you like to respond?
I don't agree with this email.
Okay.
I mean, the opener on General Nazgrim wasn't why Priest should be nerfed. That was pulling all that trash all at once and doing ridiculous damage.
Sure.
It was more that Shadow Word Pain was doing more damage than it should have. It's a single cast dot. That was my only real big dot. I mean, Vampiric Touch isn't enough of a dot, but it was doing too much damage. Just looking across the board, it was doing too much damage combined with everything else. And on top of that, Shadow Priests aren't doing just damage. They're also doing a lot of healing in there too. And you combine all this together and they are doing a lot. Now looking at rankings across the board, it's not just mages and warlocks that dominate the top 10 anywhere. I mean, the number one parse on Immersius is a Shadow Priest. And then it's warlocks, it's mages, it's rogues, it's hunters. Right now, things are pretty well balanced as far as who's doing the most damage, and who's ranking.
And didn't Locks get a nerf as well? And
Demo Locks got a nerf, yeah.
Okay.
And then to say that it's not going to scale, I don't think you could say that yet. Based on the way a lot of the trinkets are working this tier, Shadow is going to scale just as well as anything else.
Okay.
Especially the way that the 2-piece and the 4-piece are working for Shadow Priest, it's things are pretty well balanced. If you're running with a group and your mages and your warlocks have less gear than you and are far out damaging you, then either they are exceptionally good or maybe you're not quite as good as you think you are.
And Coltrane, you just want mages to be better.
Yeah, buff mages. Buff mages.
That's all you're saying. All right.
But Shadow Priests were a little bit overpowered. And that was, again, the Shadow Word paid damage. And that the 15% nerf isn't a lot, but it was enough to just kind of keep it in check. Especially with the number of ads that are on this, that are on these bosses. Every global, you're throwing out Shadow Word Pain, and you're just doing ridiculous numbers. I mean, absolutely ridiculous numbers.
Are you still doing ridiculous numbers?
I'm still doing good. I mean, full, legendary and my 2 best in slot trinkets and everything like that. Yeah, I'm doing crazy numbers, but everybody's doing crazy numbers now. 300, 400k DPS is not uncommon.
Since the nerf, are you fine with what actually ended up happening?
Yeah, almost nothing changed. I mean, Shadow Word Pain damage was nerfed 15%, but it wasn't enough to put me at the bottom of the meters. I'm still
Right.
close to the top. So,
All right.
I don't think it's anything to worry about at all.
Cool. Anything from you, Coltrane?
Buff mages.
Buff mages. That's it. All right. Hey, speaking of Coltrane, you want to help out with this next email as well?
Sure. This is from Shaquille. Convert to rate Shaw.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal plays with Convert to Raid.
Oh,
yeah. He wears a size 22 shoe.
Yeah,
I need to join that.
It's
field.
huge. I saw his shoe on the Tonight Show or something like that. It's just huge. It's
Pretty
a
good
boat.
size.
I could make a bathtub out of it. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, CTR crew. Here's my situation. I recently returned from a 6-month military hiatus where I was unable to have consistent internet or the ability to play World of Warcraft. Now that I am back with stable internet, I am hoping to get my tune back into raiding. When I last played, February, Throne of Thunder was on the horizon, and now with the new release of 5.4, I feel very behind the progression curve. As experienced raiders and players used to preparing for and participating in raids, as experienced raiders and players used to preparing for and participating in raids, how do you recommend I begin my climb back to get into raiding? Should I struggle through all the LFRs until I get a high enough eye level for flex raiding, what I am truly interested in getting into? Any tips or suggestions would be greatly appreciated.
First of all, I'll just throw my 2 cents in, and then we'll throw it around the room here. But a couple of things. You don't need to go through all the LFRs. I mean, obviously you can, and maybe you should for some of the items that you want to get. But you don't have to do that. Now at the Timeless Isle, it's really opened up a lot. Just by going around there, you need to get geared up so that you can go there, but the gear isn't that bad that you need to be able to kill some of the mobs, especially on the lower levels. But yeah, Timeless Isle is going to be a great way to get kind of back into the swing of things and gear up enough so that you can hit some of those later LFRs and maybe do some 10-man stuff with people around the guild. Who knows? Darius, do you have any particular suggestions for Shaquille?
It depends on what eye level they're at. I mean, if you stopped towards the end of Mogashan and you're at a say 470 eye level, then you might want to do some LFRs to get some of those pieces, some of the later LFRs to get some pieces. You can also, once you get there, queue up for scenarios. They're really quick and they have a chance to drop a 516. And then once you get to the Timeless Isle, you can start grinding out some coins and maybe getting some pieces that way. But I don't think LFR is going to be unavoidable for you. I think you're going to need to do it in order to get some gear up. The PvP gear isn't going to be worth it. It's not going to put you where you need to be. But I would say do those LFRs. Once you can queue for Siege of Orgrimmar LFRs, do those, because it's only going to put you more familiar with the encounters when you decide to get to flex rating for it. So, it can't hurt.
Right.
Yeah. And what's the minimum eye level that drops in Siege of Orgrimmar LFR?
540, 530, something?
No, 528.
528?
I think that's it.
That's fantastic, man. That's huge eye level upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. Coltrane, you have any other advice here?
Pretty much just go along with Darius, man. Little heroic scenarios might help you. A little quick get in, get out. But you're going to have to do some LFRs. Timeless Isle is incredible for gearing up. Not just your main, but also your alts. You can also get these things called Burdens of Eternity, where you can take a 496 item. Like basically the way Timeless Isle works, you'll get I'm just explaining it to this guy, is you'll get a little item that says, you can create shoes with this at 496. Well, you can use this thing called a Burden of Eternity, and it'll turn that 496 into a 533. So now you'll create shoes that are 533.
Right.
So that's a great thing. So that's going to boost your eye level, boost your gear, and you're going to be good to go.
Mama called them my magic shoes.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, man, do some of these Siege of Orgrimmar LFRs. That'll get you into flex and get you geared up and ready to go.
Right. Now, hold on one second. Oh, I just got an update from Macus on our site. He said, live stream and IRC is performing well on the new site. It is. It's doing well on the new site. Thank you, Macus.
We have a new website?
Yeah, we have a new website,
cool.
Apparently. Oh, boy. I'm so
awesome,
excited.
By the way.
Yes. And I think what the guy said about eye level is totally right. I mean, you're probably going to have to do, especially, maybe some Throne of Thunder runs. Either and maybe on normals. Maybe you can do those on normals because everybody's kind of out-geared it. But I know that there's, at least with our guild, people are doing Throne of Thunder 10-man still, or 25s, or, doing heroic runs even, now that content has passed. So you can probably jump into something like that, even as an under-geared person, and say, hey, my gear needs some help. Can I join you guys? And most likely somebody's going to go, yeah, all right, because we were going to 9-man it anyway.
Yeah. No, just join /join space CTRLFG. Join the channel CTRLFG, and you should be good to go.
Yeah. There's groups forming all the time over on the old over in the old guild.
Just get yourself the runs, and you should be good.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Mahalo.
What happened?
I mean, get in on some runs.
Oh, is that what you meant?
Oh, yeah.
I ate some bad pineapple. I got the runs.
Right. And with that, I think we have to go.
Mahalo.
But I will play the music. So there.
Woo!
And we do have to give a shout out to the folks that gave us 5-star reviews on iTunes. And Darius, it looks like we only have one this week, and I don't care about quantity; it's all about quality. So who gave us a shout out this week on iTunes?
We only got one, and it is from Shocking Chris.
Woo! Shocking Chris.
Chris.
And I don't know if that means that Chris is doing the shocking or getting shocked.
I think it means Chris is getting shocked.
Probably.
He's currently shocking Chris, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he's currently shocking Chris.
Holy cow.
I don't know.
I don't know who wrote the shout out or the 5-star review. I just know that the person.
But it
was
went a
shocking
little something
Chris,
like this.
so-
I think you guys are great.
Yeah.
And Chris is,
That's what it was.
poor Chris.
Oh,
Yes.
boy. All right. Well, we cannot do the show without you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to rate us on iTunes. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the question. I have to kind of relax after that little bit that I did. That was shocking for me, for my
That
system.
was.
Oh,
It was very aloha of you.
don't worry.
I'll get it.
Don't worry. You'll get it. You're almost there. All right. But please feel free to join in on the conversations that we have, no matter where we are. And I'm going to bail on the music.
He's gonna bail out, bail on the music there.
Just gonna bail out. But I will play that one.
Ooh.
That's a nice one. That's very pleasant. You can always email us at converttorate@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. By the way, just a little bit of a note. If you wanted to actually get on the show, have it be less than 5 minutes. Please, just shorten it. Just tighten it up just a little bit. I'm not asking for a lot, but just tighten it up. All right.
Little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. And you can also follow us on Twitter at ConvertToRaid or individually, isn't that right, Coltrane?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane, that's with a K. You can follow Coltrane at _Coltrane, that's with a K. And you can follow Bored Mind with a B and an M at
That's
BM.
Darius.
And that's
I'm
for
Darius.
Darius. And that's for
Yeah.
Darius. And if you can't spell our names, make sure to head over to the new location of the Bazubaguabo Nation by just heading over to converttorate.com. Check out the new site, please do. And apparently, the live feed and the IRC are working as intended.
So it's convert2raid.com, not convertoraid.com, which
Yes.
I often type.
Make sure to hit both T's. We
There are
don't
two
have it.
Ts.
It's not a number 2 or anything like that. It's just straight up the middle on this. Convertorate.com. Please do that.
Convertoraid.
And our show is also available on Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iTunes, all sorts of places like that. We also have a cool new listing on the site itself, so you can hear the last few shows. You can also switch over to Convert to Raid 2 stuff. It's really nice and easy. But that's going to be it for our show today. We hope you had a good time, and thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you on our next show next week at our normal time, Sunday, 11 a.m. Central. And for all the guys that Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Domo.
Domo.